Guess we're started. This is SLCCLive. We're the COMM 2600 class being taught by Allison this semester, and we are doing this SLCCLive for the first time since basically everybody is under quarantine with the COVID-19 outbreak. And so we just kind of wanted to jump in here, start off. We've been figuring out how we wanted to present this class and decided on the radio show using Zoom right now. And then we'll see how that goes and test a few things out. And I guess maybe my perspective on it is that we have an opportunity to document something that's kind of revolutionary. And so it's, if we do it right, it can be something pretty cool. I mentioned we're the COMM 2600 class. So who else is in the room with us today?
Alex Brown. Hello, it's me, Alex Brown.
I'm Ashley Stanger. Nice to see you guys.
It so very conveniently has our names right here. Check that out. Hi, I'm Zach Western. Pretty happy. I like this.
I'm Allison. I'm the instructor, so hopefully you won't really hear from me much. You'll just hear from my students today.
Tiffany Sims. Good to see everyone.
Portia Nielsen.
I'm Denny Jokic.
Never heard you say your name.
Jokic?
Yeah. Life-changing.
Well, I got to say, based on all the backgrounds there, Zach, you have the most professional-looking background.
Because I'm extra.
You are extra. Treat yourself a little bit, right?
Yeah. I remember the first day we were going to do the like our first live stream for a class. I got up early and was like, what does the background look like in my room? I had to plan it.
You put way more thought into it than I am.
I mean, luckily that was already on the wall, but I did clean it up a little bit.
Nice. Well, let's get right into this. So for everybody's in a different situation in terms of their classes and what they're doing in school. I think most of us are in more of a hands-on type of class situation in the comm department over there at Salt Lake Community College. So what have been some reactions that you guys had when you found out that school was going to be moving online, and what were your thoughts in terms of how do I get that hands-on experience that I'm paying for when I can't go in and be hands-on? Zach, I know I saw something from you.
I'm very vocal. I'm very vocal
about it. Yeah.
You know, I won't lie. I'm disappointed, understanding, but disappointed because I attend Salt Lake Community College because of the hands-on experience, because I've attended other universities and spent a lot of time talking about what it might be like to do something. And at Salt Lake Community College, I've always been able to immediately do something. You know, I took a film class and I learned more in 2 weeks than I did in an entire semester at another university. So taking that, we have amazing facilities and we have fantastic equipment that we get to use, like our radio studio and the TV studio. And so having that taken away has been demoralizing, honestly. It's sad. I really miss it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's frustrating to see that taken away because it's been one of my favorite opportunities to get at Salt Lake Community College that I don't think you get as much of an experience at a bigger institution. I'm planning to transfer to the U in the fall, and I've already felt like I was only half prepared. And so now I'm like, oh God, now what position is this going to put me in? And what am I missing out on?
Yeah, I think like Zach was saying, it's very disappointing because we just got into the meat of it. We were learning how to run shows, we're just right there about to start everything, and then we have to stop. So we have the knowledge, but we haven't been able to use it yet. So it's been I agree with Zach, it's been very disappointing. But obviously there's nothing we can do about it.
No.
So we can make the best of it.
Well, and I think, when you look at at least we're trying something, at least we're here right now doing this, like, instead of just like throwing in the towel and giving up. I mean, at least we're trying something. I've had a couple of my classes, shift to the online model, and another class actually with Allison, and I can still learn something, so that's good.
I know.
Yeah.
Alex,
Sorry.
go
Ashley,
ahead.
go ahead.
That's another thing we're working on with this, is kind of figuring out how to do the whole talking first thing. But I know me personally, working with the online class sort of model, especially since we're going hands-on now, like especially with like our television class, COMM 2250, we haven't really been able to do really anything with it. But luckily for me, I've kind of found a way to make it work, because I recently got a job over at Fox 13, and I'm able to use that info to go to work and be able to do it. But not everybody has that option, which sucks. So I really kind of don't know how to do it really with this online model to kind of help everybody out.
Well, yeah, I think that kind of leads to what I rudely cut you off, but I was gonna back it up a little bit. And before we start getting into too much how this has impacted us in terms of school, how are you guys doing in your personal lives? Like, what's going on with work? What's going on at home? Is everybody okay? Like, where are you guys at mentally, emotionally, in terms of this quarantine that basically all of us are under?
I mean, so school stopped, and then my job closed down. I think it kind of has two sides, because I have a lot of friends that still have their jobs, still make income, still can pay their bills, and they're doing online classes. But me personally, it's really stressful because I don't have a job now. I don't know how I'm going to get my income for my bills. And then almost no job is hiring right now because no one's going out and working. And I think having to stay home, be pretty isolated. For me, I have been extremely unmotivated. I feel lazy. I feel like I don't have any energy. I just don't have like that motivation and drive anymore that I used to when school and work was still going.
That's a fantastic point. I think that, you know, we there's been a lot of jokes and stuff about, oh, cool, I'm gonna have a break. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna have all this free time on my hands. But I feel like, at least for me, we're in a position where I don't, like, what is there to shoot for right now? Like, what do I have to look forward to? It's we're all in this. It's like the world is on pause. And so I can see why it'd be super tough to be motivated to do much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, the first week was really rough. I'm sure everybody else has dealt with this, but it was the not knowing, first off, and then immediately being hit by an earthquake.
Oh yeah,
then,
by the way, earthquake during a pandemic.
So you're still trying to adjust. I still had to go to work. I work at Target, so I'm an essential employee. So trying to keep a safe distance while still working and doing with aftershocks and stuff was a hard thing to adjust to. I'm still adjusting. Like Michaela said, there's almost no will to want to do assignments. Obviously, I'll still do assignments, but it's really hard to get motivated to do anything but lay around.
I think that I'm probably having like the opposite experience,
because as soon as everything started happening, the hospital created, they're called mock shifts. It's mandatory on calls, and I've had to work all of mine. So it's like picking up an extra 12-hour shift. And so like I've been working like 52 hours in a week, which is absolutely terrible. But then it feels like when I come home, like I'm too overwhelmed to do anything. Like I'm like stressed about work and like stressed about school, so then I just don't do it, which is like pretty terrible. But I mean, like the work thing has been like really not fun, even though I work at primary children. So we don't even have like the overflow of like university hospital or anything yet, but we're just like preparing and helping them with everything that they do. So everyone has to work extras no matter what.
That sounds so rough, but thank you for doing what you do, Portia.
Yeah, same. Agree.
Thanks.
Well, I know me personally in terms of how COVID hit everything during school. Like I was already suffering from senioritis this semester.
Sure.
So COVID made it like 10 times worse. And then luckily enough, like I started my new job and like I've mostly wanted to focus on that. And also since I work for Fox, I'm also deemed essential. Even though we at the studio just had a meeting Monday about like part of the staff got furloughed already. So it might still get shorter, but luckily enough, my schedule is like the only one who's able to work like the late night shift, working like the 9 o'clock show. So luckily enough, I'm still kept on, but not sure how long that's going to last for. So I'm like, as long as I still get a paycheck, I'm not going to completely melt down yet.
Yeah, and I see. I feel like completely grateful because I get to work from home, so I'm so happy for that. But I'm also like so bored. I just feel so isolated in my house all the time. So I've been trying to like do projects around the house or like, I don't know, trying to plan something so I'm not losing my mind inside all the time.
I've had an interesting work experience. So I too have been deemed a essential employee, kind of. So I work for Best Buy, and because everybody's building home offices, everybody's, they need cables, monitors, computers, but also, so it's either we're setting up people's home office or we're helping them curb boredom. So people are buying Nintendo Switches and Animal Crossing or Xboxes or whatever, and a bunch of movies. And it's been interesting to see how people are responding and reacting. But we've actually closed our store to any foot traffic, so nobody is allowed in the store, because you figure like people go to Best Buy to play with stuff and like push the buttons and play with the phones and the computers and all that, and so there's a lot of things to touch. And so we've actually closed it off to foot traffic, and we're just fulfilling via curbside pickup. So people, it's like kind of like Chick-fil-A, like you check in and I bring you your product and check your ID and there you go. And so we've still been able to maintain our business. But in the meantime, our company is committed to, if you don't feel comfortable working, you don't have to work. If you don't, and you're not going to be penalized. If you're sick, obviously don't come to work. You will not be penalized. They say at every turn, like, you don't have to work and you won't be penalized for it. We're going to be lenient on like, attendance stuff. But they committed to initially 2 and now 4 weeks of pay for all of the employees who are unable to work, and all of the employees that are working, like myself, we are actually getting extra like hazard pay to be there. So for a big company like that, like they've handled it as well as you could hope.
That's really impressive. Over at KSL, they've allotted, I think, 2 weeks to all of the part-time people that don't have accrued time off that they can take. But a lot of people I know that are still working and in a similar situation to Ashley, where it's just, I'm working today, but I'm not sure if I'm working tomorrow because things are happening so fast and changing so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we good to hear that everybody at least is getting by for right now. We're not breaking into each other's homes and stealing all the canned goods, so that's a good thing. Yeah. I got the toilet paper. It's stored in the stairwell, but I'll be damned if you're gonna find the stairs. But what about, not just your classes? What about, does anybody have any internships or things like that have changed or kind of switched courses in this time?
Well, I also do an internship with Salt Lake City Weekly. So I usually only went into the office on Thursdays and Fridays as is. But since COVID started, it's been like fully online, and I just kept getting I just had to keep checking my email from my supervisor, seeing what my latest assignments are. So I know I got to the thing that also came up with COVID, me starting to work on COVID specific projects. So what was it? I started working on the Support Utah Dining project, which is this website that shows all the different restaurants and across Utah that do curbside pickup, online orders, phone orders, and do gift cards. And it's this huge directory sort of thing. So I've been able to work on that. And I usually just worked on in-person events, but now that's sort of changed to virtual events as well since what's kind of going on. So it's been an adventure to say the least.
But it sounds like it's kind of challenged you to branch out and do some things that you probably wouldn't have picked up on otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot more people about COVID than I think before when I was actually just doing regular event work. So I've had to do a lot more research, which is fun. I like doing research as it is. So it's refreshing change, at least in terms of work.
Yeah. That is totally understandable. And just a quick reminder to anybody watching or listening to us out there in the world, they're watching the Facebook Live. This is just the SLCCLive special coronavirus show. COMM 2600 students, we're getting together and talking about our experiences since classes have gone online and what it's been like for each of us. Now let's jump into a little more of a political arena. I know that some are more comfortable talking about this than others, but let's take not from the deep end. We're just gonna go and kind of down the steps and walk into the pool slowly. The Congress, Senate voted recently, passed a $2+ trillion deal that hopefully is going to get most of us some money, like $1,200, I believe it is, that most of us can expect. But what do you guys think about that? Just will $1,200 help you and what we're expecting to be at least a 2 or 3 month thing right now?
I mean, for me personally, it's really easy because I don't pay rent. The only thing I have to pay is car insurance and car payment and phone payment, and those things I have enough already in my savings. So for me, it's easy because $1,200 is going to get me through everything. But I know I have a friend who's my age who has 3 roommates who are now all out of jobs, and they have no way of paying their rent. And I think for people who have expensive rent, $1,200 maybe get them 1 month, but I don't think it's quite enough. And while we all have savings, I don't think any of us really want to be dipping into our savings for a situation such as this.
So is there something that in your situation, Michaela, that you think the government could do that would be more helpful to give you a little bit more, maybe more of a feeling of stability?
Well, I think, and it's rumored and people have talked about it, but I think maybe freezes on payments would definitely be helpful. If I didn't have to worry about paying for my car and my car insurance when I'm not even using my car, I think that would definitely be the most helpful, is just freezing some of those basic payments that none of us don't use as often as anymore.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
pretend to be an economist. Like I don't know, a lot about this, but I feel like printing $1,200 per citizen is probably not the best idea in the long run. Ask Germany in World War I time, about that. It doesn't go great, So I'm a little bit worried that we're just gonna, oh, we made more money. There you go. Now we're that much further in debt as a country. So yeah, like if we could somehow collectively just say, hey, you know what, we're all going through a really terrible time, rather than say like let's take a month or two of what your bills would be and just push them back, right? Just I don't want to get out of 2 months of pay. Just if my loan ends in 36 months, then push that out a couple months. I'll pay it there. If something like that would be more useful for me, then okay, the government's now giving me $1,200. What's the catch? What's this going to mean for our everything else? They want to bolster the economy, but it's not like we're going to take that money and go shopping with it. Like we're all going to just try and survive with it. It's not like remember in 2009 when everybody got $300 as the stimulus package? That was just like, go below $300. This is like, hey, this probably won't cover all your expenses, but it's the best we got.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting to see for the different perspectives. $1,200 to some people is a really big deal. $1,200 to some people, they're going to be able to go out and spend and try and stimulate the economy is I think the intention. But I don't know if that's a realistic goal. But what about us in terms of college students? Something that we brought up a little bit previously, talking about tuition and how this was going to affect our classes. What can be done, or do you guys have any ideas that could help us as college students? I know that student loan payments, I think, have been suspended into September, I believe, and interest had already been suspended. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was until September 30th for the student loan payments.
Okay.
Side note, so tax day got pushed back, right? But that's only was it only federal tax day? Did state tax day stay the same?
I didn't see anything about state tax day.
I'll work on that.
Zach Western, efforting.
I think students or teachers are doing pretty much the most they can. I mean, I can't talk much about loans. I'm in a unique situation where I was able to pretty much break even almost every semester, where I can pay off everything. So I'm sort of in like true stasis right now, where all my bills are being paid by the little shifts that I can work, and also I take care of the house, so I don't really have to pay rent here. But I'm not. I think if somebody had an answer, they would throw it out. I don't have an answer on how to help college students anymore. Like all the classes I had were pretty hands-on, and we're still scrambling to figure that out. So that's my take on it right now.
Yep. No, I agree. Is there anything that you guys think that SLCC could do, maybe should have done, or can do to help us out? We've talked about the hands-on experience that we wanted, and I know that Allison did a really good job of presenting us with 2 or 3 different options in terms of how we wanted to pursue the class individually, and but each class is different. So is there anything that you think the school could do or should have done to foresee this type of an event?
I would like to preface this all with, A, these are just our opinions. B, I'm very thankful for the effort that my instructors have put in. They're behind the 8 ball even more so than I think we are. Not to mention you have people like like Allison, who are not only pivoting to try and take their fully hands-on production class and put it in somehow in some reasonable online format, but let's not forget, like, she has what, 2 children that she's also now trying to homeschool. Like, that's a big ask. And so I think it's
Kids are easy.
I think it's, I don't want to say that I think that SLCC has done poorly, because there's no precedent for what's happening. That said, I wish there was some better idea, and it's just where we are in life. We don't know, but I wish there was some better idea of, how can we overcome this? This is fun, but like, this isn't the experience of being in a TV studio, that there's just really nothing that can replace that. So I would love to see some sort of, intensive something, or there's a lot of things that I think just get me hands on.
Yeah, I didn't intend to chime in, but I just have to say, I feel like, I hope I don't get fired for this, but I feel like what they really need to do is open up a central communication channel. Like, what have they done to hear your voices and hear what you guys want and need and give them their ideas? I feel like there needs to be, like, there's a central form you fill out if you test positive for the virus, but where's the central place you go and let them know what you need from that school? And that's what I think they need to do, is figure out just a way to let you guys tell them these things, right? I mean, be honest, not sure any of the administrators are going to watch this video and get the info, and they just haven't made it easy for you. Make it easy for you to talk to the administrators and tell them. And that's the thing I wish they would figure out how to do for you.
Has anybody gotten an email survey? I feel like I've seen an email, but I, be honest, didn't even open it up.
Well, the email I got was like a general, like, wellness email that I feel like would have gone out anyway.
Oh, okay.
But basically every opportunity I have to voice my opinion, I'm just taking it, whether, I don't know where the surveys are going to end up, but the more I say, hey, I understand you're doing what you can. That said, I don't feel like I've gotten what I signed up for entirely yet. And I would like to see what the options are to rectify that. I say that to whoever will listen.
Yeah, I remember you saying that the quote unquote last day of physical class. Remember you saying that to me as you were leaving.
Yeah, and I don't want to be like, it's like a squeaky wheel gets the grease sort of thing, but I just want to make sure that we're all, like, kind of thinking about it, like, hey, something's not quite right. It kind of goes back to your bills thing. It's like, just because you're out of work doesn't mean that someone's not going to ask for their rent or their mortgage. And so it's the same thing. Even though I'm maybe not getting the experience that I signed up for, I said earlier here, I came here to be hands-on, and now that's taken away from me. It's not like my tuition changes, and so that's why I'm sitting back and waiting for, like, a benefit of the doubt, because again, this is unprecedented, but I'm waiting for what's the reaction, and what are we going to do to make it up. And I'm open and willing for that. I don't want to just sit back and say, oh, this is the worst, but I'm just waiting for some plan, some flexibility, but who knows when that ever happens.
I think it's interesting, that perspective. I've kind of gone back and forth, depending on the day, depending on the hour, in terms of my level of motivation. There was a while, because we had spring break and then the extra 2 days that we tacked on before we actually started class again, where we were periodically getting information and finding out how we were going to go about doing the classes online. And I was kind of hoping that, God, if they give us a pass-fail option, I might just go with the pass and get it over with. But then at the same time, after we had our first meeting that last Wednesday, I believe it was, it really kind of motivated me, because we were all just figuring it out. None of us knew the software that we were trying to use. None of us knew this type of a situation, because like everybody said, this is unprecedented. So we don't have any idea how to approach it. And so my my viewpoint kind of started to turn after we met the first time, because that's how I looked at it. Like, it's unprecedented, and what we're doing and the different softwares and things that we're trying to mess with to get this to work properly. It's kind of a special. I think it's a special opportunity for us. And while it's not exactly what we signed up for, it's still going to give us a leg up. And then when the workforce does ramp up once again, then I think we're really going to be in a good spot, especially in terms of learning and understanding media related stuff.
Well, yeah, that's just what I come back to. And Allison probably knows this. I'm not here for assignments. I'm not here for grades. Frankly, I don't particularly care what grade I get. I care what I learn, and I care what I experience, and I care what I get to do. And what I love about this school, this program, this everything is that it is about doing. And so I'm just heartbroken that it's come to this, but understanding, I think it's like important perspective to realize that why this is all happening. And it's really a kind of the most selfless thing. Like, we as a people are sacrificing and giving up to make sure that we don't all get sick and that more people don't die. And that's why it's all happening. It's not because we got somebody talked out in class and we got our recess taken away. It's we as a people.
Yeah.
We as a people decided. Yeah, well, I was that kid. We as a people decided, even though kind of it was decided for us, but we are coming together to say, you know what? We're going to stand together as a globe against this thing. And so that's pretty cool.
I agree. Well spoken. Quick reminder, this is the SLCCLive special coronavirus show, the COMM 2600 class getting together and talking about our experiences personally, professionally, and in terms of school. So let's lighten it up. That got kind of heavy and just, what we're all experiencing. Way to go, Zach. Bringing the group down once again.
I have way more for this next part, though.
Woo-wee! Okay, so let's have a little bit more fun. What have you guys been doing during all of this to stay occupied?
Sleeping.
She says emphatically.
Oh, I have done the most sleeping I think I ever have in my entire life.
Do you find yourself more tired because of it?
Michaela, knowing you, yeah, you need all that sleep that you're getting.
Top golf.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is when you're asleep most of the day, you have less hours to try to come up with something to do.
It's true. I just replaced that sleeping with 2K.
Nice.
Become a problem.
Lots of video games are being played.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like everybody's starting podcasts, myself included.
Everyone's playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah,
I'm playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
I don't get it. Can you tell us about this Animal Crossing craze?
It's just aesthetically making an island look pretty and like small tasks.
Well, I'll take a step back. So Animal Crossing is a video game it just came out for the Nintendo Switch. And basically the conceit of the game is you are a person who goes to an island and you basically like you farm and you meet people and you pay off debt, and it's just real life. But it's an escapist sort of real life game, but it's adorable. The art style is just so cute.
Yeah, I mean, you pay off your house debt by catching butterflies and selling them back for thousands and thousands of dollars.
And then as soon as you pay off your debt, he's like, hey, you want to make your house bigger and get into more debt? And you're like, yep, I do.
I guess I don't get it.
It's the thing is it's at this point now it's just it's a simulator game to where you get to talk to people closely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also kind of like The Sims in like a way. Like people like have like the same addiction to it where they spend like, I don't know, 8 hours on it.
Well,
That's-
I will say I've had a fun times filling my time. So I have a bunch of nerdy friends, as you can imagine, and we're doing game nights on Zoom just like this. So we're doing like trivia games and
yeah, I'm
sort of
not
like
surprised.
mini book clubs, and we played a game of Mafia, if you know what that is. Like it's pretty fun. But the problem is, for those that work at home, they're working from home in front of their computer all day, and then they're socializing in front of their computer all night.
Big chance of overload right there.
Yeah.
What is that movie with Joaquin Phoenix? Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He falls in love with the computer.
I feel like what we need, this is the time for VR. Have you guys seen that movie Ready Player One? Where like everybody lives their life.
No, the movie's awful.
Well, the book.
The book.
But everybody lives in a virtual world, and like life happens in a virtual world. And so they put on their headsets in their crappy life, and then they go to this fantastical place and then like have their jobs and stuff like that. Where are we on that, guys? Come on.
I'll be honest. I listened to that on a drive through Colorado, and there's a difference in the laws between Utah and Colorado, so I was enjoying myself out there and listening to Ready Player One, and that's a great book. That's a great book, I'll tell you.
I'm sure everybody else has done it, but I've watched so much Netflix. I binged through 2 shows entirely, and I watched Event Horizon for the first time last night, and
okay,
that's a pretty good show. I mean, that I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's not people know it's a good movie. I just haven't seen it until now.
But was one of those shows Tiger King?
Oh yeah.
So
I'm all
Tiger
about it.
King. Let's talk about that, and then other Netflix recommendations.
Tiger King's ridiculous. If you don't know, it's about a meth addicted, gay redneck polygamist who runs a tiger farm.
He dabbled. I don't
Oh,
know
I
that he's
thought that's the thing you went on
His
to.
teeth disagree with you. Anyway, this guy Joe Exotic ran this tiger farm, and then he's in jail for a murder for hire plot. It is fascinating. Probably all like way overblown. Probably not like as sensationalist a little bit, but it is entertaining as heck.
Oh, it's the dredge of society.
How they set up the show, I really enjoyed how they would introduce something and then they would tease it into the next episode. And then that next episode was about that tease, and then it would tease something else. So it's just sort of a smooth transition into different topics that you would want to know about.
Yeah.
Wonderful lesson on teases.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-made documentary for sure.
And character, right? Sorry, I have to bring in the academic side.
One of the things that I actually really appreciated from a construction standpoint of that, like the way they put that show together, when you got to know characters and when you were meeting them for the first time, they showed a few seconds before they like hit record, and you kind of got to see the real version of people. And then it's like, okay, now we're recording the interview. There's something about that I thought was really cool to see the inner workings almost. It's a really well-made documentary for what it is.
No, it was enjoyable. I didn't love it the way some other people have, but it was something that caught your attention enough that you're like, oh, Joe Exotic is on, or one of his songs is on. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
I saw a tiger as my new phone ringtone.
Of course, you're the guy that still has a phone ringtone, specialized.
Wait, what's wrong with specialized phone ringtone?
I thought that went out in like 2016.
No, I still hold my flip phone up to the radio to record my ringtones.
Yeah, man.
I finally got to watching Breaking Bad for once in my life.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, why is Tiffany not here? That's like her favorite show. It is amazing.
Oh my God, that background. Breaking Bad is wonderful. I introduced my fiance to it about 6 months ago, and now we're we're burning through Better Call Saul.
I know that me and my boyfriend right now, we're binging Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's a
been
great
fun.
show.
That's
Yeah.
a great show.
That's been really good.
Also, Kingdom is fantastic. I burned through that for like the first week of spring break, and it's like Game of Thrones, but with zombies, and it's really good.
I've been rewatching The Office for the 10th time, and I recently started watching Schitt's Creek. Very good as well.
I started watching Euphoria on HBO. Very TV mature, but it's really, really good. And they're coming out I think they're filming the second season now, so it's coming.
I put a vote in for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's also a good show.
That is one of my favorites, as well as the one that Zach mentions, Schitt's Creek. I'm all into you have to have the comedies right now. I swear.
Yeah.
My husband's watching Ozark, and I can't do that one right now. I'm like, too dark. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Supernatural, and they're just about to wrap up their final 15th season, and I am just so ready to just restart from season 1 to episode 1 and just binge my way through
It's like 13 or 14 seasons, something like that.
15 seasons.
Woof.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to start if I ever get caught up with work.
So never.
Good luck with that. Okay, so just one last reminder. I thank you to everyone with this Communication 2600 class over at Salt Lake Community College. Normally, we would be doing this SLCC live show in the radio studio and have somebody over on the keyboard and putting in the various updates, and a couple people behind the microphone, somebody doing news, weather, traffic, hopefully with a real good deep voice, because that's the best way to do news, weather, and traffic. I think we all know. Somebody running the board, just, you know, a lot more hands-on and involved with the SLCC live experience. But today we're doing it differently. We're doing this through Zoom. So I would say thanks and name everybody individually, but God knows I would miss at least one person. So thanks for coming on and watching this SLCC live special coronavirus show. Let's just wrap this up really quick. What is this kind of shutdown and ability to recenter your lives and just kind of lets you cut out all the crap? I think it's what it's done for me. Maybe I should phrase the question differently. What has this experience done for you? What do you think you've learned from it, and how can you improve from it moving forward?
It let me see my priorities way more easier. Like, because I know, like, after this has happened, I'm like, okay, I want to be with my long distance boyfriend during this. So now we have started rolling out steps to actually move in together after this is over. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to say about like work-life balance, what that means. And it puts in perspective what's important, like at the end of the day, what actually matters. I don't know if you guys saw that video of like celebrities singing the song Imagine, and like, guess what, guys, like you're just people who are in movies and those are gone now. So what do you have? But like doctors and, people who are trying to change the world, they're the heroes right now. And that's pretty cool. Puts it in perspective of what actually matters.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's kind of made me realize like who I want in my life and who I don't, because I feel like I see a lot of people who aren't taking it seriously, who are still partying or still meeting up with friends or hanging out with boyfriends. And specifically in my household, we've had some pretty serious conversations because all three of my roommates don't work now. And so I get it, they're bored, they stay home all day, but I'm like, you really cannot leave the house though. Like you can't go meet up with people. So like we really had to have like some real sit down conversations and like prioritize our relationships and how we're going to make this work as like a household. So
I think for me, it's been really nice to be able to like go from a full schedule to kind of calm down and just like allow myself to breathe a little bit. I feel like a lot of free time that I've had, I've actually been able to like think about where I want to go in my future and like actually be able to like plan the steps I need to take, because before my schedule was so full, thinking about the future just was an overload, because I had to focus on now what I was doing in the moment. But now I've actually been able to realize like where I want to go to college after and where I want to work and the possibility of moving. And I think just having some free time and more like mental space, I've been able to realize things that I want to move towards.
I think that's really well said, Michaela. If you're in a place mentally where you can be withdrawn and think about things and really start to plan out your life because the distractions aren't there anymore, this can be a really good time for a lot of people. So, for me personally, it's been a similar experience to really think about how I want to approach things, and looking at my podcast and how I want to approach going to school at the U next semester. It's given me a lot of time to think. So it's been, overall, it's been a good experience, I think, in terms of just reshaping priorities in small ways.
Oh yeah, I think the reshaping of priorities is a good call, because I've at least had to call myself out on a little bit of stuff, because you always put it off and you're like, okay, well, if I had more time, I would go do this and I would go do this, and I haven't done anything besides small things that aren't the list that I've wanted to do. Like I built a dog run over the weekend for my dogs outside, but nothing else. And then I'll follow it up with watching 4 or 5 episodes of something. So it's been redisciplining myself, and that's mostly what I've learned, is more discipline on how to structure my day, because I don't have any structure right now.
I've learned that I'll do anything except what I need to do. I should be like studying and like for my classes, but instead I'm playing with fire. You're not supposed to play with fire, but it's a lot more fun than like studying. So
Wow.
It took a turn. I liked it.
I will say this. I want to talk about something I'm very thankful for. Within the last year, I got braces off, and I'm very happy I made that choice, because I've had a lot of time staring at my face on these stupid video conferences, and every once in a while I'm like, hey, that's a few $1,000s for those teeth are kind of worth it. Huh. I'm vain, as you can tell.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, so on that note, let's jump into the final block here. The pandemic would you rather. Allison, are you ready for some would you rather with the whole class?
I am.
Looks
I'm
like
ready.
Zach's ready.
I'm gonna keep it kind of short though, so that we can wrap it up. But so I'll do the few best questions I had. They're not all that great, so
we'll have more next week, right?
Oh, okay. Don't ever downplay yourself like that, Allison.
Well, some of them are good.
I'm gonna do a show led by me.
I'm gonna do the good ones. So this is our special pandemic episode. So if you are in a 14-day quarantine, okay, and a real quarantine, guys, means
we need some pandemic sound effects.
Well, I know, right? You can't leave where you are. You are stuck in one place, no leaving at all for like 2 weeks or so. So would you rather run out of toilet paper or have no access to a shower or bath?
No, I'd run out of toilet paper, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'd run out of toilet paper. Cloth diapers exist.
I can shower.
Exactly. Anyone else?
Yeah, definitely toilet paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a hose in the shower?
Sure.
For me right now, like if I don't shower because I forget, because days are weird, like don't feel like I did my day right. I don't feel like I adulted very well. Like I just changed from my morning pajamas to my evening pajamas.
I know. I have been having to like force myself to shower to keep some like normalcy. It's a
Yeah.
hard thing to convince myself to do. But I didn't understand the run on toilet paper even, because I was like, you still have your house and your shower. Like,
And the stores are still open.
it's not the end of the
legally.
world. All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather, trapped in your house, remember, have no internet access or no access to your phone?
I could do without the phone if I got a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
Because-
go. I gotta go without the phone. Would be I could get by.
Using internet, I could still FaceTime. So
Here we,
I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
all my friends are on my computer pretty much. So
So that's the difference, right? Then when you're not in quarantine, though, people always want their phone, right?
Yeah.
I have a complicated relationship now with my phone. We're not as tight as we used to be. Things have changed.
I have spent more time with my phone in the other room than I used to.
I don't know if I want to know what's implying there.
What does that have to
God,
do with?
just like, shut up, go away. I'm tired of you being in my hands constantly because I've got nothing else to do.
All right. Would you rather? This might only work for someone who's in a relationship, but would you rather be quarantined all alone or with your in-laws or significant
All
other's family?
alone. It's not close.
Does with the in-laws mean with your significant other?
I think they could be there too, yeah. But
Then
also
yes.
then their parents.
I've never met them yet, so I don't know that yet.
All alone still.
all alone for sure.
Oh
I have
God.
a friend who's in Sacramento who's been like shelter in place for the last 2 weeks, and he is miserable because he's like, yeah, the only people I talk to is through my phone, and in my apartment he doesn't talk to anyone. He hates it.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
I'd rather
I
be
know.
with in-laws. At least I'd have someone to fight with.
In all seriousness, my in-laws are pretty cool. I'd be with them.
I honestly don't know if I could take it. Oh gosh, I hope they don't watch this.
That's why I hedged my bet. Just kidding.
Let's see. Oh, this one was courtesy of my husband. If you ran out of food, would you rather eat your pet or your roommate?
Roommate.
Roommate.
Well, actually, when this first happened, my boyfriend like barely first started. He like was like, "Well, if like things go to worse, like I would eat you." Okay? And then like a few days later, he like brought it up again. He was like, "I mean, like if it gets really, really bad, like we could always eat each other."
No.
I thought process. Like, and this was like before St. Patrick's Day, like before it was really that bad.
Neither of my dogs are very meaty, so I just don't feel like they taste very good.
That's my logic too. Like they're tiny and stringy. Ugh. This is gross.
I was
So
gonna say I
gross.
don't want to get into the details.
Yeah,
so
but
gross.
we've all had this conversation with someone, and you know it.
As a
Yeah.
joke.
Our answers are a little too quick.
I know. Okay, here I have two more. So here's our second to last one. Would you rather have to finish the semester online because of this, or end up actually having to go back for the last 2 weeks?
Go back.
Go back.
For us,
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah, I'd rather go back.
But yeah.
I want to get it done online because I just want to make sure I'm at the U in the fall.
I'm in the exact same situation, so yeah.
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 I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what
I'll
I
be
have
honest.
after this.
Like, I don't know if I could handle it if they actually were like, okay, great, you get to go back now. I'd be like, what? Like, I don't know if I can pivot again.
Okay, I'm super worried. Everybody is like getting this like pent up like desire to go out and do stuff. I feel like as soon as we get the thumbs up, everybody's gonna group in mass hordes and spread it again.
Oh, that's exactly what I think is going to happen, honestly. Like, not to be a
Mm.
naysayer, but I think
We're gonna
it's
have
be
this
like,
big party. It's like
Yeah.
that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah. They've had to.
Give it a
like,
week
in,
or two.
in China, they reopened the movie theaters and then closed them down again because, it's
Yeah.
starting to go up again. So, anyway, okay, here's the last one. Would you rather be in this pandemic or an earthquake?
Pandemic.
Pandemic.
The earthquake messed me up real bad.
was gonna say,
It depends on how big the earthquake is.
Yeah.
Because the earthquake the other day wasn't too bad for me.
I was gonna say we're in both. That was really my trick with that question. We didn't get the choice. There was another huge one in Idaho yesterday, like literally where my sister lives. Like it kind of, yeah, it was a little scary, honestly. All right, that's all I have for Would You Rather. Brian, close us out of this.
Again, thanks to everyone for jumping on. Allison, appreciate you facilitating this. I know it's been a tough transition for you as an instructor, and I think it was Zach that said earlier it's probably been a lot more difficult for you guys than it has been for us as students. So thank you. Thanks to anybody who's jumping on Facebook Live and checking this out. Hopefully it's something worth watching, and years from now, we can point our kids or whoever it is that we're leaving behind us. For me, it'll be my dogs, and I'll be like, hey, look at this video, dog. And by that point in time, the dogs will understand that kind of a thing.
True.
So come on, Zach, it's true.
It's true.
But I just thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this is worthwhile. This is SLCCLive, and make sure and tune in next week on Wednesday for our regular show.